Well, I've been waiting for this for a long time. Volvo to finally build an executive car that isn't just for architects and dentists, something that can actually rival the German mainstream. And I think they've gone and done it. This is the all-new V90. It's built on the same platform as the excellent XC90, and it's designed to offer similar luxury, impressive technology, and groundbreaking safety, and be every bit as good to drive as any Mercedes E-Class, BMW 5 Series, or Audi A6. This new V90 certainly has the necessary X factor to really grab your attention. Now, I'm loving the lights. The way you've got this T effect in there, that is supposed to resemble Thor's hammer. Also, there's no danger of this car being underwheeled, oh no, because this one's riding on 20s, but you can also get 21-inch rims as an option. And then there's this strong crease running down the side of the car. Now that reminds me of the strong crease on the P1800 ES from the 1970s, but for me the best bit of this car is the back end because, well, it's not only a practical estate, but it's also really good looking. Kind of reminds me of someone else I know. Me, yeah. All V90s come with an automated tailgate, and you can get it with hands-free opening if you want, and the boot load space of 560 litres is just 5 litres less than an Audi A6 Avant. However, with all the seats folded, which you do electrically by the way, the total volume of 1,526 litres is almost 150 litres less than that in the Audi. Now, it's worth pointing out that the starting price of this Volvo V90 of £34,500 means it undercuts a similarly specified Audi A6 Avant by around 2,000 quid, which is pretty useful. Though as the Audi's older, you're more likely to get a deal on one. If you want to find out the best deal you can get on this Volvo or the Audi, then click in the top right-hand corner of the screen on the card to go to carwow.co.uk. The V90 comes with plenty of kit as standard. All models get LED lights, leather, heated front seats, internet connectivity, sensorless navigation which you operate through an iPad-style screen, another digital screen for the driver, dual-zone climate control, and 2 new driving aids. This is the first car to get the latest version of Volvo's Pilot Assist. So it's an extension of adaptive cruise control, and it allows the car to effectively drive itself at speeds of up to 80 miles an hour on the motorway without even following another car. And you can go completely hands-free for short periods of time, and the car will just steer itself. And that means there's probably enough time for me to just practice my juggling. So here we go. Yeah, I've got a lot to learn. Oh, occasionally you have to put your hand back on the steering wheel, otherwise it complains. The second driver's aid is more useful on country roads. So let's say you're a motoring journalist and you're busy talking to camera, being all over animated, trying to captivate your audience, that you haven't noticed the Tyrannosaurus Rex right in front of you. Well, thankfully, the Volvo V90's City Safe system can now detect large animals too, so it will warn you if it spots one so you can take evasive action. Now, the system's actually designed to spot things like elk and deer, but it looks as though it can also spot dinosaurs. Blooming silly T-Rex standing about in the middle of the road. No wonder they're extinct. The V90 is available with 2 diesel engines, the D4, which is front-wheel drive, and an all-wheel drive D5. There's also some turbo petrols, a T5 and a T6, plus you can get a hybrid T8. And all models come with an 8-speed automatic gearbox. And damn right too. I mean, you shouldn't have to change gears yourself in an executive car. This auto is actually pretty good. It's nice and smooth. It's not the fastest to respond, but it's good enough. And it actually works very well with this new D5 engine. So it's a 2-litre diesel, but it's got this clever thing where it stores compressed air and then it blows it through the turbocharger to spool it up instantly so that you have no turbo lag. So when you put your foot down, once the gearbox figures it out, it does take off. However, while this engine has 235 horsepower and can get from 0 to 62 miles an hour in just 7.2 seconds, for some people, a mere 4 cylinders under the bonnet just won't do. Now, Volvo says that downsizing helps improve your economy, and this particular car I'm driving should be capable of just over 57 miles per gallon. So if I look at the trick computer, it says I'm doing something in litres per 100 kilometre, and yeah, I can't do the maths in my head, so I think we need to go to voiceover. So with some careful driving, I managed 5.9 litres per 100 kilometres, which works out to about 48 miles per gallon. Still, you should be able to get similar economy from the larger V6 diesels you get in the Germans, and those engines are more desirable. Now, part of the reason for this is that six-cylinder diesels are usually quieter and also smoother, and that improves the comfort. And to really assess this car's comfort, for once, I'm going to take a back seat. Now, if you're wondering who's driving, don't worry. I've actually hacked the piloted drive system, so we've gone fully autonomous, and it's really let me focus on this car's ride quality. Now, as standard, the car uses a leaf spring in its rear suspension. And I know what you're thinking, leaf springs? Weren't they used on stagecoaches? And yeah, that's true, but Volvo's done something clever. So it's actually fitted the leaf spring across the back of the vehicle there. You can see it's the green thing because it's made out of composite material. And that means that, well, it takes up less space than traditional coil springs. And so there's room in the boot area for them to fit all the electrical gubbins for the T8 hybrid model. This particular car though, it's actually riding on air suspension. The air suspension is only actually fitted to the rear of the car, but from where I'm sitting it feels nice and comfy. Probably doesn't glide at the road in the same way that a Mercedes E-Class on air suspension does, but it's still pretty impressive. And so too is the soundproofing. And overall, it's very comfy here in the back. I've got plenty of space, so you know what, I'm just going to sit back, relax and let the car do its thing and take me to my hotel. So, a new day and a new car, this time the S90. For those who prefer a saloon rather than an estate, the S90 is almost as smart looking as its big booted brethren. In the front it's identical with that wonderful Swedish minimalist design which follows on from the XC90. Like the V90, this is the top level inscription model, which has Napa leather, various bits of walnut trim and a large digital driver's display. On the whole, the quality is strong with this one. You know, it doesn't feel in any way inferior to the Germans. I like the way that Volvo's got its own way with the infotainment screen. Yeah, it's a touchscreen system, but it's quite easy to use. Not quite as simple as BMW's iDrive, but way less confusing than the system you get with the Mercedes E-Class. And you can get stuff like Spotify and Apple CarPlay if you don't like Volvo's own proprietary system. Being a saloon, the S90 is less practical than the V90. First of all, there's the boot, which is just 500 litres, and then there's the rear headroom, which is a little bit tight for this class of car, and nowhere near as roomy as that in the back of a BMW 5 Series. However, with a starting price of £32,555, it is a useful £2,000 less than the estate model. This particular car is the T6 petrol, and we won't actually get it in the UK. We only get the diesels and the hybrid. It's a bit of a shame really, because I quite like this engine. So it's a 2 litre, 4-cylinder. Remember, Volvo doesn't do anything bigger than a 4-cylinder. There's no 6 cylinders. But it's got a supercharger and a turbocharger, and it delivers 235 horsepower, which is good for 0 to 62 miles an hour in just 5.9 seconds. So yeah, it feels pretty quick, and I quite like the noise it makes as well. Now, this engine is mated to the same all-wheel drive system that I had in the D5, which I was driving yesterday, and it's a Haldex system, and it can send up to 50% of the car's power to the rear wheels if it thinks you need it. Thing is though, when you're driving along most of the time, it feels essentially front-wheel drive, this car, and as a result, it's never as fun or as sporty or as engaging to drive as a rear-wheel drive Jaguar XF. But, you know, for how people are going to drive this car, it handles well enough, really. And if you come out of a lolloping S80, you're actually going to be really impressed with its dynamics. This petrol saloon does feel a bit more nimble than the slightly heavier diesel estate. But even with the car in its dynamic mode, comfort, not sportiness, is the name of the game here. And whichever model you go for, the S90 or the V90, you won't be disappointed. So then, overall, what do I think of the Volvo V and S90? Well, they've been a long time coming, but they have been worth the wait. Okay, so there are rivals which are more sporty, and it's a shame you can't get 6-cylinder engines, but these cars, they're stylish both inside and out, and they're very comfortable. Now, if you click in the top right-hand corner of the screen, you can get more information and find out the best deal you can get on a Volvo at carwow.co.uk. Thanks for watching. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it and subscribe to our channel. And if you click over there, you can watch our review of the V90 with a 360-degree camera, which allows you to look around the cabin if you move your phone around or use the cursors on your browser. So make sure you do that, otherwise it's all a bit boring.